Howdy, I'm Rob Love with Mavic SSC, and today I'm going to show you the quick, easy, and inexpensive FTSL free hub service. Every Mavic road wheel uses this free hub body. If you do have a mountain wheel with an FTSX or an ITS4 free hub body, the procedure is very similar. The maintenance interval for this is about every 3 to 5 months, but that does vary from rider to rider. The tools we need for this procedure are pretty simple. We need a 5mm Allen key, a 10mm Allen key, small screwdriver, some lint-free rags, and the Mavic free hub body oil. This is a mineral oil. It retails for about $15, and it's important to use this oil as opposed to other mineral oils due to its slightly thicker consistency. It tends to last a little bit longer, and basically any Mavic dealer can order this oil for you if they don't already stock it. Okay, so the first step we've done is we've taken the wheel out of the bike. We want to remove our quick release skewer, like so, and make note that you do not need to remove the cassette or make any adjustments to the bearing preload for this service. The next step we're going to do is we're going to take out our non-drive side end cap, and that simply has an O-ring in there, and you want to just pull that guy out, set that aside. It's going to open us up to be able to insert a 10mm Allen key into this half of the axle. Then on the other side we're going to use our 5mm. Fits in like so, and you just simply want to break the axle half apart. It comes apart with a standard thread. Simply unthread the drive side like so. Pull that out, set that aside. Now we can take out our non-drive side, which kind of just pulls apart like so. Set that aside as well. Okay, the next step is to pull the free hub body itself. The cassette is attached, but that's okay. We're just going to grab a hold of the cassette, sort of rock it off of the free hub body and pull it straight off like so. That is going to expose our free hub pawls and this little washer here that spaces the free hub body off of the hub bearing. So we set that stuff aside. We can pull the pawls and the pawl springs out like so. There's 2 of those guys in there. We can set that aside too. The last piece we need to pull is the seal that's behind the free hub body. You want to either use your fingertips, you can use your small screwdriver, and you basically just want to pull that guy up nice and carefully. You don't want to rip the seal. If you are using a screwdriver or something else to pry it out, you don't want to score the hub body at all. So we pull that guy out. Then you just kind of note the orientation of the seal. The thin lip is facing outwards. So at this point we've got the entire free hub body pulled apart. At this point we will sort of just clean up everything and inspect any of the parts for wear. With normal maintenance, most of these parts will last for many years, but if you do need any parts, your Mavic dealer should be able to help you out. Okay, so at this point we've cleaned up all of our parts. I've also given a wipe to the hub itself and cleaned any residual dirt and grit out of there, and I'm going to begin reassembly. We're going to start by putting the seal in. Remember, the thin lip faces up, and I'm going to give it just a light sort of coating here of the mineral oil. Wipe that around to help it glide onto the hub a little bit easier. Just kind of stretching it past here, taking care not to rip it, and making sure that it becomes fully seated on the hub itself, like so. Next we're going to put our pawls and springs in. We've got the spring attached to the pawl, and we're just going to set it in its little pocket. And at this point, take note that there is a pocket for the spring as well. And so I just kind of push the spring end in and ensure that it's sitting in there completely. Do the same thing with my other spring and pawl. Like so. So the next thing we need to do is we need to add the mineral oil. What we want to do is add just a real even sort of coat to all this stuff. I fill this lip seal like so with some oil. What we're trying to do is we're just trying to get an even coating over the surface of the pawls, the springs, and the seal itself. So at this time too, we are going to put some mineral oil into the free hub body. I like to put a light coat around the outside and then drop about 10 to 12 drops into the body itself. Okay, so we've got all of our parts coated with the mineral oil. I take the washer here, drop this guy on top of the bearing, and at this point what we're going to do is we're going to simply flip this guy back over and slide it down. Now in order to get it to fully seat, you need to push the springs in. So I use my fingers and just sort of push the springs and pawls in to allow it to fully seat onto the hub itself. We can take our small screwdriver, just sort of ensure that the little spacer in there is centered up, and then we can take our drive side axle half and push that guy in. Okay, so at this point it's time to put in the non-drive axle half. So what we do is just sort of grab onto the drive side, pick your wheel up, and put this guy in. You can start threading it in by hand, and as it gets tight we grab our 10 mil Allen key, stick that guy home, and put our 5 mil Allen key into the other side. So the torque that we want to use on this is tight but not over tightened, obviously. The torque that we can achieve with a 5 mil Allen key is more than enough to keep these two pieces tight. So I just kind of snug it up like so, and we're good. The last step is to put in our non-drive side axle end cap, and what I like to do is actually just give this guy just a couple drops of oil right on this little O-ring. That just helps lubricate it a little bit and makes it easier to pull out the next time that we need to perform the service. Okay, so the next thing we do, the last thing we do actually, is just get your skewer back in there, get this wheel back on your bike. Your free hub body has just been overhauled and you're ready to ride.